Yes, you are listening to KBOO Portland, 90.7 FM. We are here at the MLK Day celebration at the Highland Church, and we have our first live interview of the day. I'm still here with my co-host, JJ. How's it going?
I'm doing great.
And we have James Posey with us here. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
It's nice to see you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh boy, where to start? As I said, I've been in the Northwest about 45 years, originally from Indianapolis, Indiana. Spent some time in the military, Vietnam veteran, and came back through the fort of the Air Force Base in Seattle, and really liked the Northwest, and couldn't afford to move to Seattle. It was high then. Mm-hmm. Boy, wasn't that a mistake. I wish I could go back there. And, I thought it was high back, the prices of houses were high back then, but eventually I moved to Portland, and I've been here for about 40 years, and I raised my kids pretty much here, and both of my daughters one went to Grant and one went to Benson.
Yeah, general, huh? I'm a general.
Oh, you a general?
Yes,
okay.
General.
Well, good thing I didn't say anything bad about the generals I'm talking about. Anyway, so I've been here, and I've had a couple businesses since being here. I've had a construction company called Workhorse Construction, and I started a company. You guys remember when down on Killingsworth in the MLK, it's called Crack Alley. Y'all remember that? You're too young to remember that. Maybe JJ.
No, when you use the word crack, I don't know.
Oh, you don't understand that word.
I don't understand that word.
Anyway,
on the other side of town.
Yes, I was trying to hire some black kids and represent well, our community. Oftentimes, young black men are not seen as being positive and productive. So that was the focus of my business, of getting some kids off the street and making sure people understand black men can be protective and, be productive in their ability to contribute to our side.
Can you tell us a little bit about your political career, or that's going to be?
Okay. Well, yeah, sometimes I forget about that because I lost. In 2004, I ran for mayor, and just came in third or fourth or something like that, and I had no political background whatsoever. But I was, oftentimes the majority group think they can do stuff for you. I didn't feel like I needed them to do something for me. I need to do something for me, and I wanted to represent us rather than having another group try to represent me. They would never understand what I've been through or what my people's been through. So they were good people. I'm talking about the people who I ran against, James Francisconi and then police chief Potter. But I kind of got a sense they were a little bit arrogant about what they could do for black people, and so I tried to take matters into my own hands, and that's and so I learned a lot. Portland is the whitest city in America, and when you take a challenge like trying to run for office, it's a big deal, and it's a huge. You didn't know Portland was the whitest city in America? Large city, that is. So anyway, the challenge was huge, and I learned a lot, and I think people who ran against me, and that kind of established my reputation of being willing to take the wheel, and instead of letting somebody else try to drive where we go.
Do you have the urge to possibly go back and redeem yourself? Or?
No. The real important thing for me, JJ, was that I wanted people to know that we have the capability of doing anything we want to do if we choose to do it, and we're not limited by the color of our skin. And the theme of Dr. King, I wanted our young people to say, even if you don't have anything, you don't have the political or financial background, if you put your mind to it and you really want to do it, there's a way for you to get that done. And so it was a model, and I think a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, but many black people decided that they could also do the same thing. And I think you could call me a forerunner of some of those efforts to get into the political arena. And I don't know if the people who have ran since I ran for office really recognize that, but someone has to plow the ground. Someone has to lead the way. Someone has to be the pioneer, in our community to break these barriers that traditionally we don't get a chance to do.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of being a mentor, a father, a business owner, first off, what brings you here today to the Highland Church MLK celebration?
Well, quite honestly, I got invited. Normally, I've just been a regular guy, brother on the street, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
For some reason, when you get elected to a prominent, sort of quasi-prominent position, all of a sudden, people start paying attention to you. And I said, I've been here all along. You guys just noticed me now. What's up with that? But anyway, I was invited. This has been a tradition. I can't say enough for World Arts, Ken and Kevin and Michael Grice and all the other people that are involved in it. And I love this church. When Reverend Hardy was around,
Yes,
man,
sir,
I would follow that guy off a cliff sometime, what I mean? So when you start talking about Highland Christian and coming to these kind of events, it's kind of like it raises your spirits when you come over here, the music, the various speakers. This is about the most important day of focus for Black people in this community. People want to tell that story. It really is one of the major focus of what Black people do. That's about trying to build community.
Yeah, with me is the good in the hood and this event here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that is so important,
Yeah.
especially during these times now
Yeah.
where all the nonsense that's going on out there,
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, I was telling earlier to Tanisha that the sad part about it, when this day is over, are we going to go back to the rat race, do the same thing we've been doing, whether or not we can take this energy, this positiveness into our day-to-day life. What would it look like next week? Will we even remember what we said today or what we did today? And if I say personally, if something doesn't get in front of me, life has its challenges and, paying the bills and you're trying to take care of your kids. This kind of sinks to the background. And so it would be, I'm glad you all at KBOO, because you all have been out here doing this, for quite a while. And I would take segments of the King experience and put it up front as much as I possibly can throughout the year, not just wait until King's Day. And to be quite honest with you, it's been commercialized, and people get advertisement, all the stuff that King was not about gets put to the forefront rather
That's
than
a good point.
rather than us talking about building our community in an aggressive way.
Yeah, there's a lot of conversation about the whitewashing of MLK's message and the potency of the community building and community change has seemed to kind of fall by the wayside. I wonder, going back to your community efforts, do you have anything kind of cooking up for the new year as far as community organizing or any kind of events?
Well, during COVID, and I'm not going to cast any aspersion on the last administration, but our offices were closed, at the Lloyd Center, and so
for the NAACP.
Yeah, the NAACP, and so we want to open that office back up and have it as a way of triaging some of the issues in our community. I think last night I was at Allen Temple AME Church at another celebration, and I wanted to highlight some of the people who are doing work silently in our community, like Mariah Taylor. I don't know if you all know who Mariah Taylor is.
Would you tell us a little bit?
Oh, yeah, Mariah Taylor, she used to run a health clinic in Northeast Portland, for low income, and, I used to do, another thing on my resume, I used to be the executive director of a nonprofit health clinic too, volunteer health clinic called Health Help. And Mariah and I, you remember that? It was up by off of 8th in Alberta. Anyway, Mariah she's out on the streets trying to help these homeless people, using her own personal van, collecting food, some of these people who are out on the street who are mentally ill, really, they are really mentally ill, talking to the sky, hitting on lampposts, all that kind of stuff. You know, Mariah, who is a nurse, by the way, who is a registered nurse, she was featured on Oprah, and they called her Oprah's Angel. Of course, she's doing this stuff single-handedly, and I'm saying to myself, the lady is, I misstated her age. I called her 84, but she just turned 83. And I'm saying to myself, how does a black woman, 83 years of age, put herself out on the street in harm's way, trying to help the poor and down out and so forth, without having support from the community? So I'm going to task our organization to help Mariah at the very least. This is just at the front end of the stuff. And then, of course, we have this big issue, and I was telling Tanisha in another interview, when black kids have a 50% achievement gap from white kids, guess what the future looks like for these black kids if they don't get on task and be competitive in all these markets, not just going to school, but the ability to get a job, to run anything. You know, I hesitate to mention the scholarships at the Scandal Breakfast. If you pull that scholarship presentation out, you'll see that there were very few black men in that scholarship presentation. And I can't say for sure why that is, but I can tell black men aren't at the level they need to be in this arena, in the education arena. And I could track, if I was really going to look at that, I could track it back to the fact that we have this achievement gap now and have had it for the last 50 years. We've got to change that. That can't be the same if we expect for black people to be, successful in our society, having that level of lack of achievement. I could go on and talk about, the fact that now in Oregon, cannabis is legal. You go back and look, 15 years ago, they were busting our kids out on the street for smoking a joint. You know what I mean? So they got a rap sheet now, misdemeanor, maybe even a felony. Their life is devastated, even if they didn't have those legal issues. But they've been harmed as a result of having those things on their record. Because people don't forget, whether you know it or not, people don't forget about that kind of stuff. How do we reconcile that? How do we make reparations for the fact that our people were disproportionately arrested and criminalized based upon what their white people were making money off now, hand over foot?
Millions.
Yeah. So, things go around in my head, and whether or not we can do anything, I'm going to be honest, I don't think the NAACP is the only instrument by which we can address some of those problems. But y'all, we got to get on this. This is not something that we can afford to not do now.
Yes, this is. It takes a village, and God willing, we'll be there to support you and see this through, and come together as a community and really make a difference. We really appreciate you coming here and doing this interview with us, James Posey. It's been fantastic. Before we get back to the program, is there any parting words you'd like to share with us?
Yes, of course.
Please.
And don't consider this proselytizing, but everybody in this room need to be a member of the NAACP. All your listening audience ought to sign up. It's only $30 a year, and that's the very minimum we can do to empower. It's a legacy organization. People died for us to be able to have that organization. Martin Luther King shed his blood. We were sitting here comfortable, living off the shoulders of those people who died. That's what this King thing is about. Everybody in your listening audience need to go to NAACP.org, sign up, and let's build this community institution to where it ought to be. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Posey. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You are listening to KBOO Portland 90.7 FM here on your 90.7 FM dial. We are at the MLK Highland Church Celebration annual 38th here on the Boo. We're going to get back to the program. Thank you so much. Keep it locked here on 90.7 FM.